I need a man. 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 I need a man.
This title, not clickbait. Sorry to have to break it to you, but there are literally white supremacists in your Twitch chat. Now, okay, I'll be honest, maybe it is a little bit clickbaity, because of course there aren't going to be definitely white supremacists in every single Twitch chat, even the 5 viewer Andys who just started last month, but it's more likely than you think. There is so much to talk about with Twitch pandering to white supremacists that I really have to take you back. That's right, gang. We're going into the YouTube time machine once again. Ooh. But this time it's not YouTube, it's Twitch, so it's the Twitch time machine. Ooh. A couple of years ago, after the insurrection on January 6th, I went a little bit viral on Twitter. I went viral because of this clip from my stream where I was commenting on the insurrection. These are not Trump supporters, this is Antifa. That's not a hammer and sickle, that's the mark of the outside from Dishonored.
Who covers the White House, saying that a source close to the White House is inside the Capitol.
That's it.
To remove them from the building, to restore calm, to restore order.
Why do these chuds gotta like good games about my head? Can't you all just play COD? Here's the thing, that's another reason why more Twitch streamers who are left-wing need to be open about politics. Because the fucking gamer to fascist pipeline is so prevalent. Twitch is a massive platform, like, where lots of people go to watch video games, yeah? Like, lots of these people are just like single white dudes in their fucking basement, probably still living at home, hating their fucking lives. They have something to hate, they don't know what it is, they get real angry, they go on the internet, they look for things to get mad about, and what do they see? Joe Rogan. Who does Joe Rogan have on his podcast? Gavin McInnes, Jordan Peterson, all these other fucking people, you know? All these other actual white supremacists. Oh, these people sound like they're talking my language. Let's go find out more about them. That's right, it's the feminists, and the gays, the trans people, and the black people. No, just because you are a single white person in your mum's basement who's got something to hate doesn't mean you are a fascist. What I'm saying is that's the beginning of where most cis white people end up going, I hate my fucking life. How do I make it better? Who do I hate? Who's responsible? And instead of finding capitalism as the problem and fascism, actually no, what they do is they go, oh, that shit that's already been programmed into my brain by the media over hundreds of fucking years. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I knew it was them. Obviously it's them, because I've always hated them, because it's just bred into me. And things don't just go viral for no reason. That resonated with a lot of people. In fact, I specifically remember a lot of Brazilian people reaching out to me and telling me how much it made sense to them living under the fascist government of Bolsonaro. Someone even translated it into Portuguese so that people in Brazil could understand it better. But it also resonated with a lot of marginalised people on Twitch, and the subject that I'm bringing up there, the gamer to fascist pipeline, is not a new phenomenon. This is something you can see well documented in Steve Bannon's strategy. Steve Bannon, if you're not sure, one of the main advisors to Trump in the Trump campaign leading up to 2016, he wanted to bring a lot of disenfranchised young white men into the radical conservative right. This was done by a lot of methods, and as I said in that clip, these men were already right on the edge of being radicalized already, and already had previous biases which set them up at this point in life that made them more susceptible to Nazi rhetoric rather than left-wing rhetoric. There was already a phenomena of angry white guys yelling in the gaming content creation space very, very early on in the 2010s. FD Signifier talks about this in great detail in one of his best videos, Break Bread. And he talks about how this evolution of angry white guys yelling at the screen to reactionary conservative talking heads directly affects marginalized people in the YouTube space. It's a great video, go check it out. Highly, highly, highly recommend it if you've not seen it. But that crossover with the gamer community is really where we start to see issues with Twitch. Super early on, Twitch.tv was gonna have its problems. Not only is it a place where a bunch of disenfranchised white guys meet up on the internet to talk shit, but the format of live streaming and the way that the chat works, there were always going to be issues with people trying to be edgy and making stupid comments in the chat from the get-go. But I think one of the earliest things that we have to talk about is Pepe the Frog. Now, most people who aren't on Twitch probably know Pepe the Frog as the Nazi frog. He's the frog that the Nazis basically tried to use as their icon for a long time when they were trying to rebrand as the alt-right. Pepe the Frog was the face of a lot of memes, especially this one particular Pepe where he's looking super smug, and this would always be alongside some kind of "we triggered the libs" comment or something to that effect. But what a lot of people don't know is that Pepe the Frog actually started out incredibly innocently. He was just a stoner cartoon frog that this one guy created. And actually, it was Twitch and gamers without any Nazi affiliation that made him as popular as he was. People on Twitch were using Pepe emotes for ages before it became commonly associated with the alt-right. And just like Pazuzu possessing a young girl to show us that even something as innocent as a young girl can be disgusting and corrupted in this world, the Nazis on 4chan tried to do that with Pepe the Frog. And other stuff, like drinking a glass of milk, the OK symbol. But the long and short of it turned out to be that unlike the swastika, which was not commonly known in the West as the manji or the symbol of peace, Pepe the Frog was already in big current usage in Twitch, so it kind of fell apart for the Nazis when they were trying to co-opt that image. And in fact, the amount of left-wing streamers, notably high-profile left-wing streamers like Hassan Abi, who use Pepe emotes in their chats now, has made Nazis and the alt-right a little bit embarrassed to use Pepe the Frog nowadays. And they use a different kind of frog, which is known as a groiper. But if you want to see a good documentary on this, highly, highly, highly recommend The True Story of Pepe on YouTube. It doesn't really go into too much depth about why it's important to not let Nazis corrupt things, because eventually if Nazis start doing things like, I don't know, eating Chinese food as a symbol of Nazism and hate, what, do we all just stop eating Chinese food? You know, the attempt to co-opt normal everyday things and seemingly innocent things that people are already using a lot of to mean Nazi shit or to promote hate speech is an attempt to normalize Nazism. And it's an attempt to get anti-fascists to be too scared to use certain symbols in their everyday life for fear of being branded a Nazi, or inadvertently spreading the word of fascism. But the Pepe the Frog thing is important because this was specifically a Twitch thing, and the Nazis tried to take that from Twitch. Now, as I said, Pepe the Frog has been reclaimed by many Twitch streamers. I know that some people still aren't comfortable with using Pepe. For me, that's your choice. That's whatever you want to think. I am fine with either. It's not a huge thing, a cartoon frog at the end of the day. I do think it sucks when someone's like legitimate art does get destroyed by Nazis. Personally, I'm not really in the business of letting Nazis win at anything, so I do continue to use Pepe and Peepo emotes in my chat on Twitch. So that was kind of the beginning of a larger problem with Twitch that people weren't really aware of back then, but are certainly aware of now. And that is that in the undercurrent of Twitch and the gamer community is that there are just a lot of fucking Nazis. Not to mention, when we're talking about these orgies, these angry white guys yelling, a lot of those guys ended up being Gamergate supporters. Gamergate, I can't even really get into it here, it's way too much to talk about, but it basically involved harassing women game developers and women game journalists because they were rightfully looking at games through the eyes of feminism, and in other cases they were analyzing the racism that's inherent within certain games, the bigotry that's present, the queerphobia, but that is another instance of gamers being radicalized. And of course, Twitch is one of the biggest platforms for gamers. It certainly was back then. I remember when I first started becoming politically active when I was streaming on Twitch and learning about these dog whistles and learning about certain things in like usernames, chat messages, little snidey jokes that you'd see in chats. And I think it's important at this point to mention that Twitch chat has its own dog whistles that are specific to Twitch that really just highlights how much of a problem white supremacy is on the platform. Take, for example, the tryhard emote. That emote is getting spammed here during the interview with a black player of Hearthstone, alongside other phrases that are absolutely fucking disgusting. But it's important to point out that the tryhard emote was used multiple times whenever black people were streaming on Twitch in order to harass them, in order to be racist to them, alongside other disgusting words like you can see here in this screenshot. And I would go into big streamers' chats that I adored, and I would see some of these fascists making jokes in the chat. And I would be thinking, why are these mods not doing anything about this? And it happened so many times, to the point where I was like, I'm not going to watch these big streamers anymore. I'm just going to watch smaller streamers who actually moderate their chat, because I don't feel comfortable there as a queer man, you know? And just as an anti-fascist in general. And it would be so common to see casual bigotry of all kinds in these huge Twitch chats. And that started to seep into the culture at large at Twitch. I remember the first early days when people were getting mad that women started streaming on Twitch. Oh boy, like some of that misogyny is still going around now, but back then it was another level. It was literally like, if you dare to be a woman and stream on Twitch at all, it doesn't matter if you got your titties out, it doesn't matter if you're doing like ASMR shit. You know, Amaranth, forget it. You know, back then there's no way people would have been all right with that. I mean, they still kick the fuck off nowadays, but you know what I mean? Like back then, it was even worse. The whole titty streamer discourse of you're stealing my views on Twitch because you're a woman and people just want to look at you because you're a woman and that's all that they're there for in your streams. They don't care about your commentary. They don't care about your gameplay. Obviously, that's a lot of projection. The people who are making those statements are clearly making those statements because that's why they would watch those streamers. Actually, I watch a lot of women and femme presenting streamers, and that's because they're just more interesting than men. There's just a lot more interesting women streamers than men, and that's just a fact. Like, you know, I don't know what it is. It's also the misogyny that's prevalent in society that means that men don't make an effort because they simply think that they deserve an audience just for sitting there and playing Call of Duty for the 50th time while not saying fucking anything, you know? I think what's at the heart of all this stuff is capitalism and this Sigma grindset attitude that, I know Sigma grindset is a current meme, but nose to the grindstone mindset, which is where that portmanteau comes from, has been a big thing for a long time. And for a good while, some of the only advice that you could get out there on how to grow your Twitch channel was simply turn up every day and keep streaming. Eventually, one day you'll pop off. And of course, that is absolute bollocks. That never happens. And that advice only ever came from the lads at the top. You know, like the big 5 fucking streamers who simply did not care if any other smaller streamer was gonna get to where they were. In fact, they didn't want that shit, and that's probably why they were giving you that advice. But that mindset of nose to the grindstone, just turn up and log on in the system of capitalism that we've got, plus the normalized misogyny within the gamer community, that shit led to a perfect breeding ground for incels. And we've spoken about how there's an undercurrent of fascists in the gamer movement. The gamer movement? That's not right. And we've spoken about how in gamer culture there is an undercurrent of fascists. But I think one of the most important parts of the pipeline is inceldom. If you don't know what incels are by now, a quick rundown of them is these people who are desperate to get laid. They believe that getting laid is attached to their masculinity. The reason that they can't get laid is because of feminism, and therefore feminism and everything that intersects with feminism needs to be destroyed, or they just lie down and rot. The incel movement has spawned a lot of mass murderers and mass shooters. This is a bit of a theme that we're going to keep seeing here, so yeah, just, you know, the content warning at the beginning was there for a reason. And so you can see how there's a bit of a crossover between these two hateful ideologies. Incels are prime recruits for the far right and white supremacists. This is of course because all white supremacists have to do is tell them that anti-racist activists, LGBTQIA+ advocates, and Antifa all intersect with the feminism that is stopping them from getting laid. And this is where the first big bollock drop from Twitch happened. I can't remember exactly when this happened. I want to say it was around 2019. But Twitch made a weird announcement that they were going to ban the word incel. Now, what does that say to you? If you're watching my channel right now, either you're new here, in which case I don't need you to answer in your own head for this, but if you're a regular in my channel, what does that say to you? That's a big problem, right? Not only did they ban the word incel, they also banned the word simp and virgin if you use it in an insulting manner. So not only are we erasing the word incel, which is an important word to be able to use, by the way, because incels are literally terrorists, and using simp as an insult was actually a good move, to be honest, but it kind of has weird connotations as well, because if we're going to ban the word incel, then what's the point in banning the word simp as an insult? Because if we're banning the word incel, then what kind of good graces do they think they're getting themselves into if they ban the word simp as an insult? If you don't know what the word simp means, it basically stands for sucker idolizes mediocre pussy, or at least that's the definition of it on Urban Dictionary. But it's been somewhat reclaimed by women recently, and so I'm all about using the word simp to describe people who are simping for you. That's up to you if you want to use that word, but it did used to be used by incels as an insult to people who watched what they would call titty streamers, aka just women streaming. It's so misogynistic, I just can't. But also banning the word virgin, if you use it in an insulting manner, that's a weird one too, because then that goes back to protecting incels, because like ace people and aromantic people, I know that this is good for you, like obviously the word virgin used in an insulting manner does affect ace people and aromantic people in a big way. We kind of want to be moving away from that in society in general, but in context at the time, it definitely wasn't being used to protect ace and aro people. It was definitely being used to protect incels. So it's weird. The response was unanimously that this sucks. There was a bit of a gray area in between the virgin and the simp thing, but people being unable to use the word incels on Twitch, especially political streamers whose job it is to describe what this group is doing in order to protect people, that was a huge clanger. Now, what's important to remember at this point, like I said, I don't remember exactly when this was, but at this point in the Twitch world, debate bros, Destiny in particular, were popping the fuck off. They were platforming fascists that had previously been banned from Twitch for taking part in, for example, horrific alt-right shit from 2016, the whole stuff that Trump had emboldened back then. In the days of Trump's presidency, there were some alt-right streamers that just got legit banned for being alt-right, and that was good shit. But then these debate nerds started platforming fascists again, and some fascists who'd previously been banned from Twitch. Some analysts thought at the time, and I'm inclined to agree, that someone in the decision-making department of Twitch was getting a little bit too sympathetic with the subreddit r/Livestream Fail. If you've never been on Livestream Fail, do yourself a favor and don't. There's nothing good on there. It is literally incels, white guys getting mad about women streamers like that. That's all it is. Like if I go to Livestream Fail today, just typing it in on a whim as I'm recording this video, the top post is a fitness streamer who's trying to move the camera so that chat can see a woman that he's instructing on the pads here to do boxing so the chat can see her ass better. Okay, I was a little bit wrong here. It turns out that the person on the pads is the streamer, but that doesn't really excuse this clip, you know?
Double jab, double. Angle as fuck. I got you. Focus!
Oh my god, God!
September.
You're terrible.
I got you, boys.
What the fuck? But Livestream Fail has been in the past one of the places where Destiny, Vorsh, all these other debate bro nerds have had some of their biggest gamer moments. Now, after the George Floyd protests in 2020 and the January 6th insurrection in 2021, some other prominent streamers got banned for saying racist, QAnon, and COVID denial stuff. And that was a good move by Twitch, albeit a PR move. Because not 6 months later did we start to see some of the worst hate raids that have ever been seen on Twitch. So, just to break it down for you, a hate raid is basically where people would take advantage of the system in Twitch, whereby if you raid someone, i.e. take your viewers from your stream over to another person's stream. In that streamer's chat, your name would come up in the chat. So a bunch of fascists on 4chan decided to coordinate these attacks to Black, Latino, LGBTQIA+, and women streamers in order to make their lives hell and make them quit Twitch. Essentially, these hate raids were inescapable, and because at that time on Twitch, the profile picture would also come up in the person's chat, a lot of these people were using the swastika when they were hate raiding people. So you would see a chat flooded with swastikas. You would see a chat flooded with racist images. It was extremely fucked, gang. Like, extremely fucked. And it led to some of the worst harassment campaigns against people that are still going on today. Two of my good friends, Lucia Everblack and Wreck-It Raven, were some of the spearheads of the Twitch Do Better campaign, which ultimately led to a day off Twitch, in which big streamers like Hassan Abi and many other streamers took part in, essentially to protest the fact that Twitch just weren't doing anything about this. This was even in some national news. I remember my mum knew about this. My mum is a bit of a gamer, but it was a bit weird that she knew about this because this was like extremely online stuff. But that's how much attention that got. And Twitch still haven't resolved some of the complaints from the Twitch Do Better campaign. I'm actually going to be uploading after this video a talk that I had with Wreck-It Raven as part of my Convos with Comrades series. This is from a long time ago. I don't even have a beard in this, even though I think I don't have a beard in some of the other Convos with Comrades. But if you want to learn more about Twitch Do Better and the Sub Off Twitch campaign and stuff like that, check out that. I'm going to be uploading that in a couple of days after this video. And of course, please go and support Wreck-It Raven and Lucia Everblack, both fantastic streamers and content creators in their own right. But it was so ridiculous. Twitch's response was literally to like take away the profile picture that came up in the chat, and it's like, yeah, that's fine, but if the name of that streamer who is raiding you is still I hate black people or like F slurs die, then you're not really solving anything, are you? They added a couple of controls to account moderation on Twitch, namely that you could set in your settings that some people have to have phone verification and email verification turned on in order to chat, but that doesn't do a lot for you in terms of needing to grow as a streamer. There are lots of people who just like watch Twitch extremely casually, turn it on, and if they can't chat in your chat, they don't give a fuck. See you later. And it wasn't long after this that Lauren Southern was platformed by Debate Bros again. Known white supremacist Lauren Southern, the same Lauren Southern that got on a boat to find migrants and refugees and berate them during one of the most dangerous and scary times of their life. That Lauren Southern who right now at this time of recording is still streaming on Twitch. Lauren Southern was also unfortunately platformed by Lance from the Surfs, which was just one of the most distressing things that's ever happened. I used to be a huge fan of the Surfs. You know, I'm not gonna like use this video to start drama or shit like that, but Lance, you really fucked up there, man. Like, I don't know what the fuck you were thinking. These people who platformed her showed her that there is an audience for her and therefore profit to be made on Twitch as a fascist. And this led, of course, to other reactionaries who previously would have been too scared to try and stream on Twitch. Because, of course, the line is, in conservative and right-wing circles, that big tech censors everything conservative. When Lauren Southern started streaming, the amount of fucking outright fascists that just started streaming on Twitch again pretty much doubled. And then one of the biggest admissions from Twitch that they have no problem with this white supremacist bullshit was when a couple of prominent streamers got banned for saying the word. Are you ready? I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say the word that they said. Cracker. Yeah, that's right. White man, Hassan Abi, and also white man, Ian, that's right, that guy, said the word cracker. Like, just said it. Just, like, said it about a guy. Just said, look at these fucking crackers. And got banned off Twitch. Cracker's not a slur. Like, you can't have a slur for white people. It doesn't exist. And there were so many instances of people on Livestream Fail, yet again, trying to explain how cracker was a slur, but the N-word wasn't. But just like me, I know that it's fine to say one and not the other. That's why I'm saying the N-word. and not the word. And I'm saying cracker because it's not a slur. It was actually a real shame that like Ian got banned for this more than Hassan, really. Neither of them really deserved it, but it's annoying that Ian got banned for saying cracker, which is complete bollocks when he's been like openly transphobic, openly racist. I guess the staff at Twitch just don't care about that stuff, but oh boy, you better believe it. Soon as he starts grouping white men, and that's not to mention my co-host on Red Planet, Kira Chats, who has previously been banned for grouping white men. What is grouping white men, do you ask? Well, when you go to Twitch's Terms of Service update in 2020 when they announced their new hateful conduct policy, if you search for the word grouping, nothing comes up. So that's helpful. But essentially what they're trying to say is that if you say white men are very similar to each other in the same way that like someone might actually be racist and be like, oh, all these black people are the same or all these Chinese people are the same. But of course, the thing that's missing when you do that with white people is oppression, because white people aren't oppressed for being white at all. Alongside that, we've also seen LGBTQIA+ streamers who've been banned for using reclaimed slurs. Now, if you're a queer person and you're live, I do believe that you should be able to say a word that is, you know, a reclaimed slur for you. It's not going to be for everyone. I don't think everybody's going to enjoy seeing that content, but in the same way that I believe black people should be able to use reclaimed slurs when they're live, right? It just makes sense, like that's fine. However, there were some queer people who got banned from saying the words in chats, and while I do disagree that it's a good idea to ban marginalized people for using reclaimed slurs, I think that using it in a chat can be a bit of a problem. That's a bit of a gray area for me, because of course, if we start to normalize people saying slurs in chats, then we're going to start to see people just using them willy-nilly, and there's no way to actually find out if the people using them are of that marginalized group. And as soon as you start getting into that, that's where you start getting into some real fucking... But I digress. This has essentially brought you up to speed to present day. But one of the most damning pieces of evidence that Twitch is a platform that caters to white supremacists was the Buffalo shooter. The fact that the Buffalo shooter thought that Twitch was the right platform for him to live stream his live lynching of black people when he traveled to a black neighborhood to specifically kill black folks. Twitch was the platform for him. He wanted to stream it to Twitch. Now, mass shooters live streaming their crimes is not a new thing. It happens on Facebook, it happened on Periscope when that was a thing, Instagram Live too, but Twitch specifically is a bit of a rarity. It doesn't really happen that often. But this guy was like, gamers on Twitch, and not just gamers, I mean the gamers that have evolved to be these guys and their communities, they're gonna get it. They're gonna get my massacre. This is the platform to live stream my massacre. This is a bit of a weird moment for me, to be honest, because if you have watched any of my previous content, you'll know that one of the earliest videos on this channel was me calling out PewDiePie, saying that he needs to call out the white supremacists in his audience and do something about the racists that he has enabled with his edgy jokes. I mean, let's just call it what it is. He's a fucking Nazi. He's a Nazi sympathizer. He follows a bunch of fucking fascists on Twitter and shit like that. But we've come full circle, and now a lot of other people have lost their lives because of this shit again. Even if you want to abstract it a little bit and take the side of the alt-right and fascists nowadays that are extremely misogynistic, huge streamers like Asmongold and XQC have been covering the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial with an explicitly misogynistic attitude towards Amber Heard. Look at this tweet from XQC, for example. The misogyny is right there for you all to see. Take the L? What, you mean take the L of never being allowed to talk about the fact that the courts agreed that your ex-husband abused you? That's the L that you want her to take. My friend Vanessa, aka Pleasantly Twisted on Twitch, put it in a much better way than I could ever. This is Twitch's highest paid streamer, yet internal comms and branding peeps who are too scared to talk to any of us on here can't seem to figure out why their streamer base is littered with bigots, and we say constantly, hey, your platform is home for a fuckload of Nazis. They earnestly and honestly believe, lol no they don't, that pulling together random anon panels to talk at us about how we're trying, we swear, is enough to kick fucks out and not, say, IP banning, preventing them from seeing our content when banned, scanning for dog whistles, etc. Then again, we're all whole-ass adults who know damn well that the reason they don't want to get serious about these measures is because they would lose a fuck ton of stream dollars, and Twitch plays in our face and thinks we're little lost 6-year-olds who can't figure that out. Yeah, so anyway, can't wait to see him on yet another showcase of Twitch rivals where he acts like a repentant man-child. We ask, where are the marginalised peeps? Better representation, not toxic streamers. And to both, they will go, If that incredibly awesome and succinct thread didn't make you immediately go to Pleasantly Twisted on Twitch and follow and subscribe, then this is your call out to do that now. And that's absolutely what it is. Not wanting to address the white supremacy on their platform is all about money. They know that a lot of these fascists in these big Twitch chats are basically their fucking pay pigs. But what they fail to see is that on the other side of these huge streamers that pull in lots of numbers are people like Germa. Germa, a literal cis-het white guy who, I gotta say, this is really quite cute, recently said to his chat that he was worried about saying the word pussy too much. In fact, I don't know if that was recent. I think that might have been a couple of years ago. But, like, extremely sweet. And he pulls in a lot of viewers still, regardless. He's not edgy, he doesn't make edgy jokes, he's still a cis-het white guy, so he's pulling in one of the biggest demographics on Twitch that it doesn't want to lose, and yet they can't see how doing all the things that Vanessa said here would be incredibly good for the community, and at the same time not actually lose them that much money. It's a weird, perfect cocktail of boomers who are running companies unable to see where the actual money comes from and terrified to take risks because they do not want to lose capital for the shareholders of the company. If you want an easier to understand comparison, think about how Morbius just got re-released in cinemas and flopped again. Boomers don't understand our culture. They don't understand that if they started to make moves that make sense to us, that things would get better, even for them, even in capitalism. But I do just want to point out how capitalism, as it always does, is enabling these fascists to exist within our communities. So hang on, Muel, how do I know that there are fascists in my Twitch chat? How do I know that there are white supremacists in my stream? Well, that's the thing. Obviously, Twitch have done the bare minimum. And if you use slurs in chats, you can get banned. And I'm not just talking from the chats. You can get reported and your account can get removed for doing that shit. But Nazis nowadays, they don't just go in all guns blazing saying slurs. They feel out the room a bit first, you know? They see what they can get away with. And that's why it's extremely important to know about Nazi dog whistles. For example, if you got someone in your chat talking about how a video game property, maybe it's the one that you're streaming right now, is getting too woke, that's a huge fucking dog whistle. Maybe you're streaming a game that has a gender non-conforming character. Maybe a character that just looks a bit weird, and someone in your chat calls that character a groomer or a nonce. That's a little bit of LGBTQIA plus phobic dog whistling right there, my friend. If you have a stream where you are shutting down political discussion in your chat, and even to the point where you are masking your politics for your audience, you are allowing Nazis to hang out in your chat undetected. Because yeah, sometimes they just want to watch video games. And a chatter that you might think is extremely sweet, giving you a bunch of donos, a bunch of bits, a bunch of subs, might have an alt Twitter account where they're just being one of the most disgusting pieces of shit that you've ever seen. And I know this from personal experience. I went from being a gaming streamer who had a no politics rule in my chat to being a political streamer where I was openly left-wing and open about my politics. And oh boy, you should have seen how some of those regulars just left without a trace. Now, that's not to say that they were all Nazis, but certainly some of them were definitely edging towards that way. If you're a streamer on Twitch and you don't touch politics and you don't know anything about it, that's fine. That's understandable. No one's blaming you here. It's the system that is enabling these fuckers to go undetected in your chats. You want to provide a place where people don't have to be faced with the hate and the badness in this world, where you could just play Stardew Valley and fucking date everybody in the town. That's cool. I love that shit too. But you gotta know at least a bit of basic stuff. Just a basic understanding of whether someone is talking about something that is inherently right-wing, or if someone's talking about something completely innocent. And if you aren't willing to do this, then you need to sit down and have a long chat with yourself about why you don't want to do that. Maybe there's some uncomfortable truths that you need to face within yourself. But I'm telling you right now, because I know that there are some Twitch streamers who watch me who do stream like that. I know that you're watching this right now. Hi, I'm talking to you right now. If this is all a bit too much for you and it seems overwhelming, my DMs are 100% open. If you want to understand what I'm talking about, if you want more advice about how to spot it better, let me know. You've probably got me on Discord. You've probably got me on Twitter. Get at me in the DMs. I will be more than happy to speak to you if you're concerned about a member of your community, if you're worried that your community is not doing enough to fight Nazism or fascism, because it's not just like you not doing anything about this isn't going to have any bad real world effects. It's more like if we don't do something about this together, there's going to be another Buffalo. There's going to be another Christchurch. And we should not be standing for that. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching my video this week. And thank you so much for your patience. I know it's been a long time since I've made a video, but I've had COVID-19. It took me out for a fucking month. It sucked. And, you know, I have that thing where I'm a bit scared of rejection. I don't know if that's to do with ADHD or whatever, but, you know, when you've not done something in a while and you're trying to get yourself to do it and you're telling everybody that you're going to do it, you know, I've been shouting about this on Twitch. I've been shouting about this on Twitter. I've been shouting about it on my Patreon. And you're just a little bit scared to fail, so you procrastinate again and again and again and again and again. I've actually cancelled the stream tonight to finish recording this. It's just fucking ridiculous. So thank you so much for your patience. I appreciate you so much. Don't forget to stop by my Patreon. This is my full-time job alongside streaming on Twitch, and you can either support me on Patreon, where you get a bunch of different benefits. There's a link in the description and a link at the end of the video if you're on YouTube, or you can support me on Twitch and just go directly to my PayPal and donate to me there. But either or, please consider paying for the content. I will be trying to keep this content as ad-free as humanly possible. And yeah, thank you so much for popping by and watching the video. Give me a like and comment. Don't forget to subscribe if you like the content. I'm super close to 5,000 subscribers, and that'd be great to get as a little bit of boost after I come back from my COVID break. And don't forget to check me out on Red Planet every Sunday at 8 p.m. over on twitch.tv/Kira Chats, our weekly communist anarchist roundtable where we talk about what you can do in your local area to help people's lives and literally end capitalism. The week just gone, we had an Indigenous panel led by our resident Indigenous co-host, Tim. Please go and check that out. It was a fantastic discussion that absolutely needs to be listened to if you are a settler on stolen land. Make sure you tune in for the video next week, and as always, stay excellent to each other. Mwah! And peace.